Hi, this is our house and I'm Ellie. Today we're going to have some fun in the kitchen. I've got my apron on and we're going to make pudding. We're going to make pudding the way that I was taught when I was a young person. Not the traditional way, with a mixer and a bowl. But we're going to make pudding the way I was taught. First of all, you need milk and you need instant pudding. Not cooking pudding, but instant pudding. It comes in several flavors. It comes in chocolate, it comes in vanilla, and it comes in banana, and many other flavors. So let's start. The next thing we need is a measuring cup or a small cup, not a big cup, but a small cup. The reason for the small cup is if you don't have a measuring cup, you can still make this pudding. You also, if you use the small cup, need a pitcher. The reason is you need a spout, and I'll explain that in a minute. The next thing you need is a container, whether it's a drinking container that you use for water, a cup like I got at the zoo, or a drinking cup that you took the straw out of. It has to hold 2 cups of milk. And I'm showing you by example right now with water how much 2 cups is in a container. So it has to hold 2 cups. This has to hold 2 cups. This has to hold 2 cups. And if you don't have a container like that, you can use a water container that you've rinsed out and cleaned as the container to make your pudding in. Now, if you use the small cup, because you do not have a 2 or 1 cup measuring cup, you're going to take your cup to the sink. Right now, I'm using water to show you. The cup, you will fill it to the top, and then you will pour it into the pitcher. Then you will take the cup and fill it halfway and pour it into the pitcher. This is almost 2 cups of water in the pitcher. We did this with water to show you, but you would be using milk to make your pudding. So it wouldn't be water in the pitcher. It wasn't water that you filled into the cup. It would be milk, and it would be in the pitcher. And the reason for that is you need something that has a spout to pour your milk into your container. This is only if you're using the small cup rather than a measuring cup. Now I've already taken my milk and poured it into my measuring cup because I have one. This is a 1 cup measuring cup. I poured 1 cup of milk into the measuring cup, and I'm using my water bottle because that may be something that you only have. I poured my milk from my 1 cup measuring cup into the bottle. Then I took the milk and I poured another cup, because this is a 1 cup measuring cup, into here, and I poured that into the bottle. Now, because I have a measuring cup, or if I had the pitcher and it had something wet in it, I wash it at the sink. I take a towel and I dry it out completely so that it is completely dry. Either the measuring cup or the pitcher. Then the next step is to open the box of your pudding, take your pudding out. Now, so the pudding pours nicely into the measuring cup, you take 1 corner of the package and shake gently. Then you take a pair of scissors that you have ready and you cut off the corner of the package, just the corner. You open it up, so there's a hole in the bag, and you pour the pudding into either your measuring cup or your dry pitcher. Try to get all the pudding out of the package into the cup. Then you take, and I'm taking the measuring cup, not the pitcher, and you take your bottle with your 2 cups of milk, or your container with your 2 cups of milk, and I pour the pudding gently into the bottle. Some might spill, but you'll get most of it. You have to be careful doing this. You may have to ask your mom to help you. If too much of your pudding falls out while you're pouring it in, your counter is clean because you wiped it off ahead of time, and you can pour the pudding or wipe the pudding back into the cup and continue to put it into your bottle. It is easier with one of these containers. This is only if you have a bottle. I'm still wiping my pudding into my container. Wipe off your hands. I lost my lid. And you put your lid on your container. Now, the pudding is in with the milk and you shake. The lid is on tight so the pudding does not come out. And you continue shaking. It takes a few minutes. You turn the bottle sideways. You can jump up and down. You can have a lot of fun mixing this up. And you keep shaking. Eventually, if you shake long enough, your pudding will start to get thick. You can hear it start to get thick. The longer you shake, the thicker that it will get. And you can hop, and you can jump, and you can shake it this way, and you can shake it this way. You get your exercise making this pudding. You have a lot of fun. And it gets thicker and thicker and thicker and thicker. But you want to make sure that you don't make it so thick, shaking, that you can't get it out of the bottle. The next thing you do is you get yourself a pretty dish or a container. And I believe my pudding is thick enough. And you pour some of the pudding into the dish or into the container. See how thick it's gotten. What I like to do to surprise people is I use animal cookies. Some people use vanilla cookies. I use animal cookies. And I put it inside on top where I had poured some of the pudding. This is the cup. This is the container. You can see my animal cookie in on the pudding. Then I take my pudding container and I pour out more pudding on top of that animal cookie. You can make about 4 cups of pudding this way. And you've had so much fun shaking it up. And then to top it off, I like to get some sprinkles. I have all different kinds of favorite sprinkles. And I sprinkle it on the top of the pudding in the cup or the dish. I put it to the side. I like to use different sprinkles at different times. If you only have sprinkles of one kind, that's okay. You might have some left over from the holidays, and I sprinkle some more sprinkles on my cup. I put it to the side. I wait for 5 minutes. You might want to ask your mom about 5 minutes. When that 5 minutes is up, your pudding is ready to eat. So here is in the dish, here is in the cup. This is how I was taught to make pudding, instant pudding. If you can't eat it right away and you have it in a container, you can put the lid on it, put it in the refrigerator, whether it's in the container or in the glass, and you can't eat it right away, you put it back in the refrigerator when you put back the milk that you used to eat later. And that's how I have fun in the kitchen. Now, I have one other thing to ask moms. It was Easter time recently, and children got different candies from the Easter Bunny. Please don't just throw away your boxes, because your boxes, some of them can be used as stencils. Some of the decorations on the box can be used for other crafts. So your boxes have a second use. And also, in the boxes, sometimes covering the chocolate were plastic. This one is an egg. This one was covering a bunny. You can use these molds later for another type of craft. So, thank you, and this is our house. And I'm Ellie. Thank you for coming.